Who else could it be but me, your man, Louie T? Welcome to to the skill game brought to you by Sleeper. We'll get to the Sleeper app here in a bit. But before we do that, we're going to talk about the contest that is surrounding the skill game today. And that is the Monday Night Football contest between two really solid teams in the NFC. Maybe even two surprise teams when you look at all the injuries that the 49ers have endured this year. And you just look at the Carolina Panthers and their profile and what we expected from them and what we've gotten from them this season. I think this is a game with two surprise teams, honestly, given the circumstances. This is going to be a good one. I'm really excited, honestly, to see this game because, as I've said before, there are a lot of fans who have not been exposed to the Carolina Panthers this year, and for good reason. It's the Carolina Panthers. You haven't watched the Carolina Panthers since Cam Newton was there, for most of you. So this is a great opportunity for an introduction of sorts. I really love what they're doing in Carolina right now. Their head coach has come in there and really changed the way that they approach things. They believe in what Dave Canales is doing. It took them a couple of years for this to kind of, and that's how it's supposed to go, right? It takes a couple of years for the belief factor to set in. They got the right guys in there. Rico Dowdle has been a big part of this resurgence. Bryce Young is playing like a guy that they thought he was going to be when they drafted him #1 overall. He's starting to step into that role and assume that responsibility and be the leader of that football team, which is what they need him to be. Guys like Xavier Legette are finally stepping up. Tet has been a godsend for them as their true #1 wide receiver. And you're starting to really see the bits and pieces of this thing coming together for them. There are no real household names defensively, although J.C. Horn is probably the most notable figure on that defensive side of the football. But ultimately, they play as a very cohesive unit. They're physical, they're fast, they play hard. And Evero has that defense flying around. His name continues to kind of circle around the head coaching rounds. But ultimately, when it's all said and done, this is a scary game for San Francisco. And I'm going to tell you why here in a second. But let's talk about the 49ers for a quick second. This is a team that has endured injuries all season long, and they've made no excuses. They got this ongoing saga with Brandon Ayuk that's starting to rear its ugly head again. Remember, they had this whole ordeal with him last offseason when there was this contract dispute. They were looking to trade him. Brandon Ayuk vetoed at least 3 separate trades, one to Pittsburgh, one to New England, one to Cleveland. He ultimately stayed in San Francisco on a new deal. Then he abruptly tore his knee up. And then now he's on the comeback trail, or at least that's what we thought. Now there's been this lack of communication from both sides. He hasn't been attending meetings, this, that, and the third. We just learned that they took his bonus money and some of his guarantees from him. And Kyle Shanahan said at his press conference this past weekend that he's never seen that done before. You got to do a lot of things to have money revoked from a guarantee standpoint. But apparently, Brandon Ayuk has hit a lot of those markers to have that transpire. So that's a nasty situation. They've been without Ricky Pearsall for much of the year. Last week was his first game back after being out for over a month. They've been without a number of different parts. George Kittle was out for an extended period of time. He was on IR at one point. He's been back now the last 3 weeks or so, and he's playing extremely well. But Brock Purdy was out for basically the majority of this season. He just came back 2 weeks ago. And so this, as a matter of fact, I think it's been 3 weeks. No, 2 weeks ago. This will be his third game back from the toe injury. So they've dealt with a lot of injuries, not to mention other guys have been down this year. They've went through a gauntlet of receivers. They've dealt with a number of running back injuries prior to the season started, which is what prompted them to trade for Brian Robinson Jr. They've dealt with Fred Warner going down for the season. Like I said, this is a team that has gone through the gauntlet of injuries. It's been a war of attrition, and they've still managed to come out on the other side. They've gone through various kickers this season. They're going to have a brand new kicker tonight that just came from Washington and Matt Gay. And so the kicker, the 49ers can talk to anybody in the league about injuries. They know all about them. And yet here they are with a chance to remain in the fight in the very competitive, maybe you could argue the best division in football, rough, tough, and rugged NFC West division. A win tonight would put them squarely in that conversation as they remain very relevant, as they've won a ton of games within the division this season, having a win over the Rams, Seahawks, and the Cardinals under their belt already this season. I mean, if I'm not mistaken, they've already completed the season series with the Rams, won one, lost one. They've already played Seattle once in Seattle, week 1, beat them there, and they've already beaten the Arizona Cardinals. I think they've completed the season series with them, if I'm not mistaken, swept them as well. So they're 4-1 in the division. They're right where they need to be, within striking distance. They just got to continue to win games like the one tonight. And this is going to be a dangerous game for San Francisco, because the Carolina Panthers have shown the ability to go on the road in these type of environments, not flinch. And so if you're San Francisco, what you need to do early is deliver a knockout blow. If you can show Carolina that tonight's not the night like Betty Wright, you can put these boys down nice and early, give them a bedtime story, tuck them in nice and tight, and say God bless and good night. Now, if you allow them to hang around like Green Bay did, like Dallas did earlier this season, you can and will lose this football game. They are not afraid of going on the road. They play a very old school, very road-friendly brand of football, meaning they play defense, they run the football, they shorten the game, and you'll look up, there will be 6 minutes and 27 seconds left in the fourth quarter of a 16-13 ball game, and you want to know how in the hell did we get here? You cannot allow this game to go in that way. Now, Bryce Young is coming off of a career performance, a franchise record-setting performance where he threw for well over 400 yards, set the franchise record for most yards thrown for in a single game in Panthers history. That is not who they are, though. Okay, Bryce Young is very comfortable throwing for 181 yards, 1 touchdown, no interceptions, and turning around and handing the ball off to Rico Dowdle 24 times. That is their winning formula normally. And if you allow that to happen in this game, you'll fall into the trap. If you're the San Francisco 49ers, you want to attack them early. You don't want to have to settle for field goals. You want to score touchdowns, and you want to neutralize their run game. You want to take away Rico Dowdle and that crutch for Bryce Young and force Bryce Young to do what he did last week. Say, do it again. I dare you. I double dog dare you. Do it again, because you don't think he can. Maybe he can. Maybe he will. But you need to find out, because if you don't, you'll end up like Green Bay. You'll be right there in a game that you want no parts of, and all of a sudden, and not that you can't go toe-to-toe, because you got a guy that you don't have a problem handing it off to 22 times and throwing it to another 7 times out of the backfield. This is a very interesting game from a running back standpoint, because you've got 2 high-usage running backs in this game, 2 of the more high-usage running backs in the entire National Football League. It's going to be a fun game to watch. I'm interested to see because these 2 teams honestly play a similar brand of football. However, San Francisco has shown the ability to say, F it, we can just air it out and we'll throw it 47 times. We saw it on the Thursday night against the Rams, if need be, and go out and win the football game. Carolina showed us they could do that last week as well against Atlanta in a game that they were trailing big in. And then the injury to Michael Penix Jr. happened, and then they got on their horse and they turned it up and ended up coming back and winning that game in overtime. So both teams have shown the ability to go out on the road, turn it up, score a bunch of points, and prevail on the road in overtime. They've both done it against a divisional opponent. And they've also shown the ability to grind out, sub 20-point scoring performances and win. The Packers game is the one that stands out for me with Carolina. That's a big road victory that really got people's attention. Like, hey, this Carolina Panthers team might be for real this year. This might not just be a good feel-good story. This might be actually a team that's competing for a playoff berth. We see it every year in the NFL. In both conferences, 2 or 3 teams swap out and 2 or 3 new teams enter into the fray in the playoffs. Carolina could be one of those new teams this year. And with the struggles of the Buccaneers right now and Baker Mayfield having a shoulder injury, this Panthers team is primed to take, sole ownership of first place in that division with the win. We'll see what happens. It's going to be a fun game. I can't wait. But ultimately, the better team here is the San Francisco 49ers. And as long as they don't turn over, and that's something that we can't really say, Brock Purdy has turned the football over this season. In his 3 games he's played this season, he's got 4 interceptions tossed, right? 2 in the first game of the season, 2 in his first game back from the injury. And then last week, as a matter of fact, I think Brock he's been back 1 game, I think. That last game was his first game back. I think he injured himself after the week 1 game. He was out a couple weeks. They brought him back, I think, against Jacksonville, and he injured the toe in that game. Either way, he's thrown 2 interceptions in each of the 2 previous games he's played in before last week. Last week he was clean against Arizona, but this is a 49ers team that when they've lost games this season, they've been very generous in turning the football over. When they've won games, they protected the ball for the most part. They've been able to do the things that are necessary for them to win, run the football, find Christian McCaffrey out of the backfield as a pass catcher, find George Kittle. Those are the things that they've done and had very good success with this season. And then defensively, they're sort of an enigma. I'm still trying to see what life without Fred looks like. I don't know if I love them defensively right now. They're a young team defensively, and I do love that. But they've had injuries, as I talked about. Michael Williams, their first-round pick, done for the season. Fred Warner, they're Mr. Everything defensively, done for the season. So a lot of questions on the defensive side of the football. Maybe we'll get more answers tonight. Last week against Arizona, they played really well, but they also allowed, and I get it, a lot of it was in garbage time. That game was out of hand and out of reach. But they did allow Jacoby Brissett to set the NFL record for most completions by losing quarterback in an NFL game with 47. So, again, it's one thing to say, hey, this 49ers defense is this, that, and the third. It's another thing to say, hey, they can still be had with all the injuries. So I still want to see what the 49ers defensively looks like. But I've got them winning this game. I would not be shocked if Carolina. This feels a lot like the Thursday night game with the Bills and the Texans. Like, I picked the Bills to beat the Texans, but I'm like, I wouldn't be shocked if the Texans won. I'm picking San Francisco to win this game. I expect them to win this game, but I would not be shocked if Carolina won this game. They're very capable, but I think the 49ers are the better team, and I expect them to win this game. I've got the 49ers winning this game. I don't think it's going to be this high-flying, explosive type contest, but I do think both teams make it to the 20s. I think this is a 26-20 type victory for the 49ers. I don't know if the score indicates the competitiveness of the game. I think this might be a 19-13 game heading into the fourth quarter, very close. And then the 49ers score a touchdown late to pull away 26-13. Maybe go for 2 and don't get it. Maybe they do get it. So I'm going to change my score to 25 or 27. Let's see which one I want. 25-20 is what this game ends up being. 25-20. They're going to go for 2 and not get it at 19-13. And because you're going to have 4 field goals and a touchdown scored initially, and then they're going to, or you could have 3 touchdowns and a missed extra point. Matt Gay usually doesn't miss extra points, but he does miss field goals. But if you get close enough, he usually makes them. So we'll see. I've got 4 field goals and a touchdown, then a late touchdown to push it out of reach. And then Carolina scores a touchdown late to bring it within 1 score and an onside kick that they don't recover. They lose the game 25-20. I've got the 49ers winning this game. So you said the audio is messed up. It's all good. It was, I knew on with the audio because it was tripping before I got up here. So I'm not starting the video over. So it is what it is. Not enough people watch this particular show. So not starting it over. It is what it is. Let's go ahead and get to the skill game brought to you by Sleeper.
The skill game brought to you by Sleeper.
You know what I didn't do? Is I did not set up Sleeper. So I'm going to take this time to do exactly that while you guys wait for me to do that, let me tell you a little bit about Sleeper, man. Sleeper is a fantasy sports and real money gaming app that focuses on bringing people together through sports and gaming. Sleeper has become one of the fastest organically growing fantasy platforms in the world, with over 10 million users in 2025. And I'm here to tell you that I am one of those 10 million, and so should you if you're not already. And here's an opportunity for you to become one of those 10 million if you haven't already done so. So here's your opportunity. There's a link in the description of this video. Click that link. It'll take you to where you can download the Sleeper app. And then you will have access to this. Now, make sure Sleeper is available in your area. Over 30 states Sleeper is available in. Make sure your state is one of them. Your area is one of them. And then once you verify that you are who you say you are, there you have it. You will get $20 free for becoming a member of the Sleeper family. And then I advise you to use my promo code LTN to give you a 100% match on your first deposit up to $100. That's right. $100 match up to, 100% match on your first deposit up to $100. That's right. It's a dollar for dollar match. So I would maximize it, right? You only get to do this once. So use the full $100 allotment. They'll match that $100, give you an additional $100. So that's $200 plus the $20 they gave you for becoming a member of the Sleeper family. That's $220. You do a lot of damage with $220. Believe you me. That said, let's show you what I did. So I've already taken the liberty of making the selections for tonight's game. So $10 wager. I can win $107. Not trying to do nothing too serious here. I'm just trying to win at this point, right? Trying to go with known commodities. So I'm hitching my wagon to the two running backs tonight in the game because I told you these two teams are very running back centric. They're kind of a throwback, if you will. I don't know if there are two teams in the league that rely on their running backs more than these two do as pass catchers and as guys that touch it in the run game. So with that said, I've got Christian McCaffrey for a combined 100 yards of rush and receiving yards in this game. So he needs to hit 100 yards of that. Total, Rico Dowdle, on the other hand, I've got him for 96.5 yards total in the game. So I feel good about that for those two guys in particular. Then George Kittle, he's been a touchdown machine since coming back from injury. This would be the night that he doesn't score. Of course, that's how it usually goes. But I'm going to hitch my wagon to George Kittle. I love him, and I think Brock Purdy loves looking for him when they get towards the red zone. So I've got George Kittle getting an anytime touchdown tonight. It's the only touchdown that I've got on the hook tonight in this game. I've got Juwan Jennings with 3 catches. I've got Brock Purdy tossing 2 touchdown passes tonight. One of them is probably going to be to Christian McCaffrey, more likely than not. I'm hoping at least one of them is to George Kittle. I could really care less as long as he throws 2 touchdown passes and one of them is to George Kittle. And then I've got Teteroa McMillan on a multiplier boost. He is the number 1 receiver, no ifs, ands, or buts about it for this Panthers team. Unlike the 49ers, where Christian McCaffrey is really their number 1 wide receiver, Tet McMillan is the number 1 guy in Carolina, and I think he is going to prove that tonight. He's been big for them here of late, and I'm interested to see if this 49ers defense can hold him down. I don't think they can, which is why I've got him for the 67 yards that he needs tonight. I think he's going to be a guy that Bryce Young looks up early and often, and Tet is going to make plays because this guy is a bona fide playmaker in this league. He's already proven that in the first, 11 games, 10 games of his NFL career to this point. So those are my picks for tonight's game. Again, McCaffrey, 100 yards of combined rush and receiving yard offense. Rico Dowdle, 96.5 yards of combined rush and receiving offense. Tet McMillan, 67 yards receiving or more. Brock Purdy, 2 touchdown tosses. Juwan Jennings, 3 catches. George Kittle, anytime touchdown. And those are my 6 picks for this game. If they hit, I'm on the hook for $107. If they don't, I'll be back at it again next week or Thursday in this game. Well, Thanksgiving, probably won't see me for the skill game until maybe Sunday night, for the Commanders Broncos game, maybe. So we'll see. Anyway, that is Sleeper. Once again, use my promo code LTN to get you 100% match on your first deposit up to $100. Don't miss out on this opportunity. Your man Louie T is trying to hook you up. Take advantage of this opportunity. You won't be sorry. Skill game, people. Brought to you by Sleeper.
The skill game brought to you by Sleeper.
All right, so that's going to do it for me, your man Louie T. I thank you guys for joining me. I look forward to chopping it up with you guys next time. I will fix these audio issues because I have another stream here that's supposed to start in 2 seconds. So going to fix these audio issues, get to that stream, and I'll hopefully we'll see you later on for overtime when we go over this game. It's going to be a fun one, and we're going to go over my picks for this game. Looking forward to doing that with you guys. Until then, I'm your man Louie T, signing off. You guys have a good one, and good luck to everyone getting in the game tonight. Hopefully, I get some of that luck too. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.